So we got some stuff to debunk because this is overly annoying. We got the right and the left always arguing, and guess what? I could care less. If I had to pick a side that I have a lot of gripes about, I would say both sides. They both are overly full of themselves. But I think some of my values are just aligned with the right side. Right? That's fine. It doesn't mean I am 100% against democracy, the Democrats, whatever. I'm not. I mean, no one should be against democracy, by the way. But I see a lot of stuff on the media about Obama betraying his country and all this stuff. All right, we can't pick and choose what president we're gonna have respect for, right? Um, one thing a lot of people can say, a lot of people can agree with, was how terrifically well spoken this man was. Right. So I get home, I'm on my computer, I get on YouTube, was watching a video, end up on the explore page. I'm looking at the press. I'm looking at videos from the press. Times Now. It was a streamed live video on April 26th. And the headline was definitely clickbait. Right. We got headlines that says Obama facing jail, Tulsi Gabbard, big announcement after Trump order. Okay. The reason why I stopped and I was like, let me watch this is because this is not the first time that I saw headlines or some type of content on the media about Obama betraying his country. Now, I'm going to say this for the record. I am overly not into politics. I am not into the media um, of of the news stations. I think they all have some type of hidden agenda. But one thing I will say is I recognize when the game of intimidation is being played, right? And when I say the game of intimidation, I'm talking about the game of playing on the assume or direct fears or insecurities of another person or group of people. Again, I'm going to say this for the second time for the record. We all could agree about how terrifically well spoken our former president Barack Obama was. Do we agree with everything that he's done? Absolutely not. I have a lot of gripes about how he ran the office. I even have his book. I didn't read it. I didn't read the book that he wrote after his presidency, but I'm just not understanding why his name cannot get out of the media in accordance to the Trump administration. Are we being blinded by something that they don't want us to see? Why does this guy's name keep being brought up? That's where I'm getting at right now. So I'm gonna pull up this video and I'm gonna pull up ChatGPT because I don't like the speculate. This is what the media does all the time. They speculate, they tell you some bullshit, they hype things up, and then later on tomorrow there's something new. There's a new hype. But I want to get down to the bottom of the constant jabs on our former president during his presidency and his administration. All right, so I'm gonna share my screen, and we're gonna start from the top. But before I do that, I am gonna pull up ChatGPT. All right, so here we go. Now, what I did was I just asked some, I just asked some questions. I want to know What is going on? So I took a picture of it, put it in ChatGPT. I went in ChatGPT to catch the headlines. Alright, I'm not gonna belabor the issue on the headlines already because I already explained it to you guys earlier. But what I came across was this. So I said they're saying that Obama is the reason for Trump being impeached or something like that, based on some type of fake created document produced by the Obama administration released to intelligence. Yes. So they're saying that basically like he's the reason why Trump was impeached, and he's the reason why the media is against Trump. Like they're just trying to use him as a scapegoat. And again, I don't know if this is some type of political stunt to push some type of agenda or what it is, but again, I want the facts. So we're trying to understand a lot of the shit goes in and out the air, so I'll be having to type it in ChatGPT, pause the video, and read it. So they're basically saying Barack Obama administration created or manipulated intelligence. Okay, that intelligence helped push the Trump dash Russia narrative. Okay, so what they're saying is the Obama administration is the reason why, um, the reason why in the media a lot of people were saying that Russia meddled with the elections. Okay. Um, hmm, Okay, that's fair. That's fair. That's fair because that was a thing. Now, do we have proof for that? That's the question. And that narrative eventually led to actions against Donald Trump, like investigations and indirectly impeachment. Okay, that's fair. Let's get down to the bottom of it. Let's see if it's true. What actually exists? There are newly declassified documents and statements from Tulsi Gabbard. Okay, cool. Claiming Obama era officials manufactured or politicized intelligence about Russia. Hmm. So they created their own intelligence about Russia. Some reports relied on weak or disputed sources. Okay. Well, what is weak? What sources are there that we deem weak, right, or disputed? We need to see that. This may have influenced how the Russia investigation was framed. I think a lot of people at the time before the Obama administration, I didn't even know that the Obama administration was the head of that, or if they even are. Uh, a lot of people at the time before the allegations believed that there was some type of rigged activities going on. There's always rigged activities going on in Congress. I'm not saying that he that I'm not saying that um, there's a possibility that he did meddle with the elections, but I'm sure in every shape, way, or form, all these politicians have their sneaky, sly ways of getting what they want. From how they address the public to speaking in ethos, which is having having this that's when you add that's when you oh god I'm missing the words I'm looking for. That's when you appeal to your audience emotions. They sell you the dream. Eat those. It's emotional. It's emotionally what was the word that emotionally appealing to the other person's emotions. They say things like you're gonna get to live the American dream and all that stuff, and you're gonna get low taxes and all and proper representation and all this stuff. Every single politician does it. It's the old trick in every politician's books, right? And you have the lithos and pathos, right? They using fake logical explanations for how they're gonna get things done. So we're gonna cut taxes, and then we're gonna increase taxes on the rich, and then we're gonna make affordable housing, affordable medical, and then when they get in office, they don't really deliver. Every politician does that. It's their way of getting what they want because they know what the American public is gonna buy. All right. Okay. So let's go down to what else was said. The key part they're not telling you. Those claims are heavily disputed and not proven. Independent reviews like Senate investigations and Mueller's probe confirm Russia did interfere in the 2016 election. So it says Independent reviews like Senate investigations and Mueller's probe confirmed that Russia did interfere with the 2016 elections. Who are we to not put it past our own enemies that they possibly meddle with the elections to get a specific president in office so they could get their ways? We're automatically supposed to be playing defense, right? So this whole hunt for this thing wasn't true and it was the former president that, let's stop that. Let's stop this. It's just overly given, full of bullshit. With all due respect, um, fact checkers say Gabar's coup narrative is misleading or exaggerated. Even declassified intelligence about a supposed anti-Trump plot was never verified and may be fabricated or foreign disinformation. So what is that saying? What is that saying about? What is that saying about? I don't even know what her name is, but what is that? She's the secretary of. Let's go back and check. Right. So she is. She is. Let me see. One thing I pay attention to is how. What's the secretary's name? We gotta get their names. One thing I pay attention to. I pay attention to how people make the administration look. I get it. Let's let's have a face. So when people are looking at the representation of the administration, it looks good. But with all due respect, I have to say there has been a lot of times where I'm watching these spokesperson, these spokeswomen, and all these people that's representing representing the administration, and it's not given. It's not given. It's not. It's not selling me. It's like, who is this person?
I
I
saw,
saw I saw so Karen Jean Pierre. That's her name. Uh, Wait, what? She served as White House press secretary under President Joe Biden and is the person who regularly delivers those briefings from the podium. Why would Trump have someone from Biden's administration in his administration if he so overly hated? No, that's not. No, this is okay. Chat. Now now we losing the plot. Chat. So for Trump. Uh, yeah, it's what we be seeing. What is what I usually be seeing on this internet. The people representing the Trump administration, and they don't really be sounding too intelligent, from my perspective. And this is not. This is said with no ulterior motive, because I could care less about the left or the right. Really, like that is not my interest. What is this person's name? We trying to find out what this Kaylee McCanny. Bet you she a blondie. Let me see. Blondie. Okay. So she commentator and former White House press sec. Oh, she's former press secretary. Okay, I see. Born 1988, is an American political commentator, media personality, and former political spokesperson who served as 33rd White House press secretary during first Trump administration. Uh, okay, so she's from Tampa, Florida. Okay, whatever. Is this was that even her? No, this was not even her. We don't know who this person is because she's the one that delivered the news. But moreover, it is just a lot of misinformation, nonsense being spewed on the media, and from my perspective, it is just discrediting the Trump administration. No one wants to have to constantly dig and see what's factual. It's a lot of nonsense. Like right now, we still don't even know what's going on. We still
still
don't
don't
even
even
know
know
what's
what's
going
going
on
on with.
the stuff in Iran. We don't even know what's going on. There is no type of transparency at all. Not saying that we need to know, but if it was being covered on the media, right? If it was being covered on the media, and Trump is like, yeah, I'm gonna be transparent with the American public. I'm let them know what's going on. I'm gonna tweet all this stuff. Pay attention to what's going on. We had we had the Epstein timeline, right? The media is constantly on Epstein, and then they shift to bringing Trump in it, right? And then what happens? We get we just attacked Iran, and then all this shit is on the media, right? About us and Iran, right? Right? Um, we're winning this war, and then what do we see? We see that we run into a brick wall with the Strait of Hormuz, and now we're in a rut where we don't know how to get the past the Strait of Hormuz open because they closed it and they have mines in the water and our naval ships are there, right? So we're constantly in this negotiation phase of what we're gonna do and how we're going to sue the Americans because now gas has risen because there's this whole jumble rumble going on with oil being exported and imported from different countries and all that stuff, right? He says we're gonna have the deal done by this day, or else we're gonna blow them up, right? And then this day comes. He says the deal was done, and then a couple of days later, the deal is not they pull back from the deal, and then there's an attack again, and there's again the back and forth continues, right? There was a ceasefire, but then we're still attacking them, right? All this stuff is going on, right? It's being covered on the media for whatever reason. He's saying the media, the administration is saying the media is spewing misinformation. So okay, cool. So right now, nothing is credible. We're just watching, right? We're just watching as Americans. But then now we see an attack in the White House. Now the media changes everything. Oh my God, what's going on with our president? Blah 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 blah. Is he okay? Now we don't know if it was fake, if it was real, if it was staged, all this stuff, right? So we're constantly getting these things put on the media with no type of closure. So why would we even feel like we should even watch what's going on if there's no closure on the stuff that you guys are putting out to us, and we have to go see for ourselves what's true and what's not, and what's conspiracy and what's factual? This is starting to get really, really, really frustrating. It's just starting to get frustrating. What is real? What is real? What is going? What is the point of putting all this stuff out if we're not even getting closure on the stuff that you guys were disclosing to us? How are we supposed to feel? Or is it just me? Or am I not watching the? Do I have the wrong media showing up on my explore page? I see like I saw that I didn't even watch the 60-minute interview. All I knew, what I was out one night. All I see on the headlines is there was an attack in the White House, gunshots, and then seconds later you see it was staged, it was this, it was that. First off, what happened to the deal with fucking the Strait of Hormuz? Whatever happened with the whole FBI files of fucking us seeing the files be what is it called? Disclosed to the public or whatever it was. What happened to that? The missing files, right? It's just like they show us stuff, we ask questions, or they show us like they're not fully transparent. We ask for that transparency, and then it's a new topic. Then what is the fucking point of us even? Don't put anything out to us then. For the sake of our sanity, stop briefing us, because at this point we don't give a fuck. That's how I'm feeling. I long time ago stopped giving credibility to what the media is saying to us because we just don't know what to believe. We just don't know. It's tiring. Anyways, I did say we're gonna watch this video. I want to watch this video because I want you guys to see what I see, and let me know if I'm bugging. Let me share my screen. I definitely did go on a rant there, but I know I'm at the
Dr. Gabbard, you're welcome to ask them. We'll start with our new media seat as always. Emily, go ahead.
Thank you. And Director Gabbard, this one is for you. Do you believe that any of this new information implicates former President Obama in criminal behavior?
We have referred and will continue to refer all of these documents to the Department of Justice and the FBI to investigate the criminal implications of this.
For even former President Obama?
Correct. The evidence that we have found and that we have released directly point to President Obama leading the manufacturing of this intelligence assessment. There are multiple pieces of evidence and intelligence that confirm that fact.
Ed, go ahead.
Director Gabbard, thank you. So,
the manufacturing
Oh,
FBI
I wasn't paying attention.
to investigate the criminal implications
I was
of
disturbed.
this.
For even
Oh,
former
The
President
evidence,
Obama?
correct. The evidence that we have found and that we have released directly point to President Obama.
That's what I'm saying is what evidence, bro? How do we, because then you're gonna get pushback saying, oh, that wasn't even evidence, or the evidence is not credible. Just tell us what fucking evidence. With all due respect, bro. Oh my
Leading
God.
the manufacturing of this intelligence assessment. There are multiple pieces of evidence and intelligence that confirm that fact.
Ed, go ahead.
Director Gabbard, thank you. So, just to, two questions, but to begin on that. The president yesterday, you've inferred that the former president helped lead a coup. Based on what you now see, do you believe President Obama is guilty of treason?
I'm leaving the criminal charges to the Department of Justice. I am not an attorney, but as I've said previously, when you look at the intent behind creating a fake manufactured intelligence document that directly contradicts multiple...
I'm gonna play this back for you guys so y'all can see what I see. This is the allegations. Ready? Let's go.
assessments to the Department of Justice. I am not an attorney, but as I've said previously, when you look at the intent behind creating a fake manufactured intelligence document.
So he created a fake manufactured intelligence document. One more time.
Behind creating, but as I've said previously, when you look at the intent behind creating a fake manufactured intelligence document.
The intent of creating a fake manufactured intelligence document. What is the document? Because right now it just sounds like, okay, yeah. So based on this fake manufactured intelligence document, he's the reason why the media decided to believe that Trump and Russia meddled with the 2016 elections. Tell us what the document is, or if that's the case, why are you releasing this to the press? What document is it? We want to see what. Because if that's the case, y'all just bringing this man up name just for the sake of it. Y'all giving him clout. Just yeah, like y'all can't leave him alone. With all due respect, and again, I am not picking a side, because I could care less.
That directly contradicts multiple assessments that were created by the intelligence community. The expressed intent and what followed afterward can only be described as a years-long coup and a treasonous conspiracy against.
So all this conspiracy is all because of a fake created manufactured intelligence document. Really? It just doesn't really make sense to me. Unless you could explain the idea behind that, right? Explain how that one document has created all these conspiracies and this and that about the Trump administration and what their agenda was. Then we could say, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. But because right now it just sounds like, okay, let's find somebody to put the blame on this. Let's find somebody to put the blame on for our shortcomings. That's what it sounds like.
Against
but I'm going to watch the full video.
The American people, our republic, and an attempt to undermine President Trump's administration.
The Senate Intelligence Committee spent several years looking into this. and unanimously agreed in a bipartisan fashion, Secretary of State Rubio was a member of that committee, that there was no political interference. There was a years-long Justice Department investigation into this as well that also concluded no political interference. So help us from a 50,000-foot level explain, what do you now have?
Thank you. He took the words out of my mouth. We're gonna rewind this whole thing of what he just said. Let's rewind it.
Attempt to undermine President Trump's administration.
The Senate Intelligence Committee spent several years looking into
The Senate Intelligence Committee spent several years looking in
this and unanimously agreed in a bipartisan fashion. Secretary
and
of State Rubio
unanimously agreed to this by bipartisan fashion.
Was a member of that committee, that there was no political interference.
That there was
There was
no
a years-long
political
Justice
interference.
Department investigation into this as well that also concluded no political interference. So help
Justice
us
Department
from a
concluded
50,000-foot
that
level
this was
explain,
no
what do you
political
now
interference.
have that refutes those
You
two?
see?
conclusions?
And
So what I'm getting at, essentially what I'm getting at is this. What I'm getting at is this. And I could pop my shit, because listen, I ain't never give a fuck about what anybody feel like I should say and what I shouldn't say. Ain't never. What my Second Amendment say? Hold on, wait. Let me go read that motherfucker. Hold on. It say the Second Amendment. Hold on, wait, hold on. I think that's the Oh wait, which amendment is freedom of speech? Hold on. Cause I don't know my amendments. Freedom of speech to the day I die, you heard? Real shit. That is the First Amendment. First Amendment says, hold on. First Amendment says the U.S. Constitution guarantees 5 fundamental freedoms: religion, speech, press, assembly, and petition. So guess what? I'm going to say what makes sense in my head logically, right? And I'm going to debunk the bullshit through my words till the day I die. And that's how I want to live my life. I don't want to live my life saying and doing what the status quo wants me to do. No, fuck that. If something don't make sense, I'm going to speak on it. And right now, this shit is not making sense. Like this man said, help us from 50,000 feet above understand what the fuck y'all talking about. Respectfully, right? So let's go back and let's continue to watch this because we want to know. We want to know we want to know where is this so-called like witch hunt or something? Like if there's a witch hunt, what is it? Because again, right, it just looks like they're looking for. It just looks like people are looking for a scapegoat to put to fucking use as a reason why a reason for their shortcomings. We want the facts. What are the facts? That's what we're trying to understand because it's again, it is becoming frustrating of the blame game with no type of logical reason behind it. The constant you guys are you guys are nasty and you guys are man, I don't even know the words. But it's the constant. Oh, you guys are just trying to attack, and they're trying to sabotage, and they're trying to sabotage, and they're trying to sabotage. Just help us understand how they're trying to who is they? How? Okay, so we got the who, the Obama administration, but how?
Sure. I will encourage you in my role as the Director of National Intelligence.
Okay, she's the Director of National Intelligence.
My job, again, as I said when I came into this role, was to make sure that we are telling the truth to the American people.
Okay, your job is to make sure that you're telling the truth, but where's the transparency?
And that we are ensuring that the intelligence community is not being politicized. So I'm not asking you to take my word for it. I'm asking you and the media to conduct honest journalism and the American people to...
So that's the agenda of this whole thing. She wants to say that the journalism needs to conduct honest journalism. That's what it sounds like. It sounds like she's here to tell us that, oh, you guys are putting out information that's not true, and it's our job to make sure that you guys put out information that is true. How are they putting out information without the source of where the information is coming from? Isn't the source not coming from you guys or political officials that you guys have ties to? And if so, can you let us know which journalism companies are the ones that's not putting out credible information, and which ones are? And we'll just go watch the ones that's putting out credible information, as long as the information that they're putting out is transparent and it makes some type of sense. Because I want to say this, yeah, a lot of people may agree that the American public, a lot of people may agree, a lot of people may agree that the American public is not the smartest. Yes, I don't know what the literacy rate for the American public is, but one thing we do know how to do is source, at least, right, a good portion of us, right? We know how to source through credible information. And it's almost sounding like what they're what they're trying to push is the proper way to source for credible information is not leading us to credible information. But then that kind of sounds like patronizing a little bit. And it's okay. It's okay for us to feel patronized. Maybe, maybe what we think is credible information is not. So help us find out which sources are given that credible information for us to do our homework on. Speaking for the journalist, because I'm not a journalist, right? But let's continue to watch this.
To see for yourself in the documents that we've released now, close to 200 pages, that point in multiple references, multiple examples, to include comments that have been made by senior intelligence professionals who are some still working within these agencies today that confirm the conclusions that we have drawn, that President Obama directed an intelligence community assessment to be created to further.
Again, here we go with the vague information. President Obama created intelligence. What?
An intelligence community assessment to be created. To further this contrived false narrative that ultimately led
to further something of false narrative towards
led to a years-long coup to try to undermine President Trump's presidency.
And it's your belief
John.
President Trump's presidency. Okay.
that those two previous events.
I guess we'll just never know what, like, the exact what is, and this is what's frustrating. This is what, again, like, I'm over it. I can't believe it. I can't belabor it anymore.
Missed that or covered it up?
I'm telling you to look at the evidence. Look at the evidence and you will know the truth.
John.
Thanks, Caroline. Thanks, Director Gabbard. You declassified these documents, if I'm not mistaken, Friday of last week, correct?
We released them on Friday of last week, the first tranche, yes.
This isn't the first time that President Trump has been president of the United States. He was president from 2017 to 2021. Couldn't the prior DNI under President Trump have declassified these documents? And why didn't that DNI do that at that time?
I can't speak to what happened there. There were several DNIs under the first Trump administration. President Trump faced many challenges from those who were working in the government who sought to undermine his presidency. That's been clearly detailed. What I can speak to is the fact that this was one of the first things that we started to investigate here within this Trump administration and have released the results upon the conclusion of our investigation.
And then my second question has to do with what intelligence agencies around the world have said about Russia, that they have tried to influence elections in the United States, in France, in Germany, in the UK. Do you disagree with that? Do you believe that Russia is a bad actor as it relates to trying to influence elections?
I'll point back to the intelligence that President Trump has ordered declassified, that we have declassified and released, that the intelligence reflects Russia's motives were to try to sow discord and chaos within the U.S. election, which is a clear distinction from showing a preference for or against a specific candidate, which is what the Obama manufactured intelligence document alleges, that Russia preferred Donald Trump and tried to help Donald Trump get elected.
Let's find out if AI can help us understand this. What was the manufactured intelligence document that was created by the Obama presidency to undermine Trump's run for presidency? Let's see. Because at this point, what's frustrating is when the media, when the press is like trying, like the press is just putting out information, and we're just like, huh, what? Like, okay, what was the document? Allegedly, allegedly created by the Obama administration that influenced the idea of Russia meddling it's kind of fucked up, but let's see. What was the manufactured document? Let's see. There isn't a single verified manufactured intelligence document created by the Obama administration that experts agree was fake and used to push the Russia interference narrative. What you're hearing about is a mix of real documents and political claims about them. Here are the main things people are usually referring to: the Steele dot dot the Steele dossier, the Steele dossier, a collection of memos compiled by former British intelligence officer Christopher Steele, funded indirectly through political opposition's research during the 2016 election, contained allegations about Trump and Russia. Reality, parts of it were unverified or later discredited. It was not created by the Obama administration. It was one piece among many, not the foundation of all intelligence. Okay, okay. Fair enough. So we got something. The Steele dossier. It said it was not created by the Obama administration. However, it was a collection of memos compiled by former British intelligence officer Christopher Steele. It contained allegations about Trump and Russia, funded indirectly through political opposition research during I don't know who Christopher Steele is, what his agenda was, but we got something. Intelligence Community Assessment ICA 2017. Official U.S. intelligence report concluding Russia interfered in the 2016 election. Reality, It was produced by agencies like the CIA, NSA, and FBI, based on multiple intelligence sources, not just the dossier. Findings were later supported by bipartisan Senate investigations. Findings were later supported by bipartisan Senate investigations. It was an official U.S. intelligence report concluding Russia interfered in the 2016 election. It was an official U.S. intelligence report concluding that Russia interfered in the 2016 election. So, maybe I should ask, what was the U.S. intelligence report that concluded that Russia interfered in the 2016 election? The Durham report, investigations into how the Russia probe started. What it found was criticized was that it criticized the FBI for weak investigative standards early on, found reliance on unverified information at the time. What it did not find was no proof of a coordinated Obama era plot to fabricate intelligence. No evidence no evidence that the Russia interference itself was fake. No evidence that the Russia interference itself was fake. So there's no evidence that the Russia interference wasn't real. That means Russia interfered with the election. That was the Durham report. It was an investigation into how the Russia probe started. Recent political claims like the Tulsi Gabbars. I don't even know what that is, if that's a person or a thing. Some politicians argue intelligence was politicized or exaggerated. These claims often point to selective interpretation of intelligence, disputed or low confidence sources. Reality. These are interpretations and opinions, not confirmed findings. They are debated and disputed by intelligence officials and investigators. Bottom line, straight answer, there is no confirmed fake document created by Obama's administration that caused the Russia narrative. There were flawed or disputed materials like the Steele dossier that was a flaw or disputed material, and let's go back and remember what it was. It was a collection of memos compiled by former British intelligence officer Christopher Steele, funded indirectly through political opposition's research during the 2016 election, contained allegations about Trump and Russia. Reality, parts of it were unverified or later discredited. It was not created by the Obama administration. It was one piece among many, not the foundation of all intelligence. So cool. The Obama administration had nothing to do with the Steele dossier. A real controversy. Oh wait, there were flawed or disputed materials. Russia interference itself has been consistently affirmed by multiple investigations. A real controversy about how intelligence was handled being turned into a claim that it was completely fabricated. So there were multiple investigations, and basically what I'm seeing, what I'm interpreting, is that all of these investigations were influenced or somehow inspired by the Obama administration. And I want to believe that it was because he spoke up against his political rival, which they all do during the time of him getting ready to turn over office, right? If you have a Democratic Party in office and you have the election coming up, right, to turn for the office to turn over to, and the Republican Party wins the election and the Democratic Party has to turn over with the Republicans, of course there's going to be some friction. You're going to get news media coverage of back and forth between the two parties. I mean, the Republicans had a lot to say about Obama's birthplace. In fact, if I may say, they made claims that he wasn't a U.S. citizen and that he wasn't from the U.S. I mean, that's expected. Our president said, "Show us your birth certificate." So these are things that, yeah, I mean, we're expecting the friction and the back and forth between both political parties about why Americans should vote for a certain type of party. But why is it that we're still to this day talking about, this witch hunt being pushed by a specific president? It sounds it, and I can see why some may say it kind of sounds like some type of intimidation tactic. Like I said from the very beginning of this video, I believe, and I think it's safe to say that many others would believe that he was one of the presidents that was very, 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 very terrifically well spoken. So, I don't think I'm gonna spend much time in this video because I, I'm having a hard time believing that it's even worth, it's even worth me watching, because I don't think anything is going to stick to where this headline is going to be credible, right? Obama facing jail, really? Come on. I mean, really, really, really? Come on, that's clickbait. So let's see. I mean,
Get elected.
I think I'm
Again,
gonna
going
give
back
this
to the
up.
most important point here, with the intent to undermine the legitimacy of President Trump's election and therefore subvert the will of the American people who chose to send him to the White House.
Reagan.
Thanks, Caroline. Director Gabbard, Reagan Reese with the Daily Caller. You laid out that the documents revealed that the Obama administration did not publish a December 2016 presidential daily briefing that demonstrated that Russia did not steal the election. Trump was receiving these briefings at the time because he was president-elect. Are you of the view that that information was kept out of the briefing because then President-elect Donald Trump would have seen it?
I don't have any documents that speak to exactly what the new guidance was that was given as the reason for pulling that document, which, by the way, still has never been published until we released it last week, Friday. One could assume that they didn't want President Trump to see a document that came from the intelligence community that would contradict the Russia hoax narrative that began through the Hillary Clinton campaign with the Steele dossier.
One more.
Steele dossier.
Maybe either for you or Caroline. The president said yesterday that Obama committed treason. Do you or the White House believe that the Supreme Court's immunity decision protects Obama from prosecution?
Look, I can speak to the president's feelings on this matter. He spoke to all of you yesterday in the Oval Office, but I also spoke to him about this morning. And he wants to see all those who perpetuated this fraud against our country, who betrayed our country and the Constitution, to be thoroughly investigated and held accountable. And it's been 10 years of this. And I would just add, based on everything the director has said and declassified, all of you in this room should go through it and take a look at this report and review the intelligence, because unfortunately that hasn't happened. And many of the people who perpetuated this hoax, Clapper, Andy McCabe, James Comey, and many others, have been hired by major networks in this room to go on television and continue to spew these lies, knowing that they are lies. And if you all recall, just flashback to 2016 and the years after, the entire Trump 1 presidency was embroiled in this scandal that was perpetuated by the Democrat Party. And you had major Democrat Party officials in this city, namely Adam Schiff, Hillary Clinton, Elizabeth Warren, who went on television and told the American people Donald Trump is an asset of Russia. It was a lie. They always knew it. Hillary Clinton herself said that President Trump would be a puppet.
Let me see. You know what? Listen, I ain't picking a side. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna pull up an old video of what she was talking about. Let's see if you see now she's saying some things that perceived to be credible. They said this and that during this year, and they hired some people who are part of networks in this room to say certain things online. So she said Adam Schiff. Who is that? Let me see.
Adam Schiff, right? It's right here. Adam Schiff. Okay. So, Adam, you know what? We got a new page. Adam Schiff. Um, Trump, Russia, interference, right? And you know, my thing is this, right? Why are we thinking about what happened yesterday? Why are we so stuck on that? If we're doing our things to right our wrongs as we move forward, why are we so fixed on what happened yesterday? Why? Like if you had your way, you did your thing, you won, you're in office, you're doing your thing, you're running things. Why do we care? Why am I keep getting blown up? Why do we care? Like, why are we so fixed on what happened yesterday? 9 years ago, Representative Schiff discusses investigation into Russia interference on MSNBC. The Trump document that Russia loves. Adam Schiff. More than circumstantial evidence. Another misinformation campaign is being launched by Democrats in Congress saying that Russia prefers me to any of the do-nothing Democrat candidates who still have been unable to after. Okay. There's something, you know what? It all makes sense. There is something that's going on. I think the mid elections. Let's see when the mid elections is. When is the mid election? The U.S. midterm elections happen every 4 years in the middle of a presidential term. The next one is November 3rd. The next midterm elections is November 3rd. But how important is the midterm elections? Is the midterm elections an event that's significant? I mean, if our president already has his second term, doesn't that not mean that he's gonna be out the door eventually already? They occur halfway between presidential elections. You vote for all 435 House seats, about a third of the Senate, governors plus local or state positions depending on your state. Midterms are always the first Tuesday after the first Monday in November. The first Tuesday after the first Monday in November. If you want to break down how midterms actually impact power and why they matter for money markets and policies. Why would it matter if our current president is already on his second term? Shouldn't it not matter? Or does that matter because maybe there might be another Republican campaign in office? Or I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to understand why this thing is now surfacing on the internet about his past run for presidency, but maybe it makes sense because midterm elections is coming up in a couple of months from now, and they're just probably reflecting on what happened during his first run for presidency. Breaking down Trump's latest ridiculous comment about Russia. Okay, so I'm curious. Let's see. I don't even know who this guy is, but let's see who he is. Let me share my screen with you guys. Adam Schiff, here we go.
You're never going to believe what Donald Trump said today, or maybe you will. Take a look.
We had to go through the Russian hoax together. That was not a good thing. It's not fair. That was a rigged deal and had nothing to do with Russia. It was a rigged deal with inside the country, and they had to put up with that too. They put up with a lot. It wasn't just us.
Let's start with Russia's been through a lot. Poor Russia's been through a lot. He and Russia went through this Russia hoax together. Poor Russia. What is Donald Trump talking about that he went through with Russia? It's this. He's running for president in 2016. Russia hacks the Democratic Party, steals a bunch of Democratic Party emails, starts leaking them to help the Trump campaign. Russia sets up a troll farm in St. Petersburg.
Get it, right? What I want to do is know what were the files or data that Russia leaked from the Democratic side and gave it to the Republicans to help the Trump campaign. Again, where is the tangible evidence of the allegations that's being spewed? Where is the tangible evidence, the physical evidence of the allegations that is being spewed by our political officials? Let's keep on rolling, y'all. Cause it's a lot of he say, she say, like we're back in elementary school. He said this, but she said that, but he said this, and then she said that, so that's why I said that. Bro, this feels like we being patronized.
To push out social media stuff to divide Americans and help elect Donald Trump. And it results in Russia and Trump being investigated. That's what he means when he says, oh, poor Russia's been through a lot. Russia helped get me elected in 2016, and they got investigated for it. Poor Russia. But he doesn't stop there. He's asked, how can we count on Putin to honor any deal over Ukraine? And he vouches for the Kremlin dictator.
I've known him for a long time now, and I think he will. I don't believe he's going to violate his word.
Let's not forget, the Kremlin dictator is a guy who puts poison, radioactive poison, in people's tea outside of Russia to kill them because they stand up to him. This is a guy who, if you're high-ranking in Russia and you say something he doesn't like, you magically fall out a window. You'll remember there was an epidemic of window falling out of, defenestration, I think is the fancy term for it. Or if you're a journalist, you end up murdered in your apartment. This is Vladimir Putin. This is the man who Donald Trump believes is a man of his word, a man who brutally invaded his neighbor, who has killed tens of thousands and thousands of people, children, women, you name it, to remake the map of Europe. And this is the guy Trump believes we should trust. He doesn't trust Zelensky, our ally. He doesn't trust our British allies, our NATO allies. No, he trusts a dictator like Vladimir Putin. Now, I used to represent Hollywood. I sometimes think in movie terms. And I don't know why listening to Trump today reminded me of this classic scene from Road Warrior.
I'm gravely disappointed. Again, you have made me unleash my dogs of war.
All right, this is it. I'll talk to this humongous. He's a reasonable man. Open to negotiation.
So that's Trump and what he had to say about his buddy, Vladimir Putin. You're never going to believe what Donald Trump said today.
I still don't even know who this guy is, but okay. Trump furious after
Is California Congressman Adam Schiff, who is the top Democrat on the House Intelligence Committee. First of all, you're...
Wait, what? Congressman what?
Is California Congressman Adam Schiff, who is the top Democrat...
California Congressman.
...on the House Intelligence Committee. Is California Congressman Adam Schiff, who is the top Democrat on the House Intelligence Committee. First of all, you're...
He's the top Democrat on House Intelligence Committee.
Is California Congressman Adam Schiff, who is the top Democrat on the House Intelligence Committee. First of all, your reaction to the fact that the Senate and House chairs of intelligence have been briefing reporters at the White House request.
Well, I'm very concerned about it. On the positive side, we both agreed on a broad scope of investigation, but the fact that the intelligence agencies were, or officials in the intelligence agencies were trying to push back on the New York Times story, acting as a PR arm of the White House, is totally inappropriate. I also don't think that the chairs of either intelligence committee ought to be announcing the results of an investigation at the beginning of an investigation. The reality is we don't know whether there were contacts with Trump campaign officials. That's one of the core issues that we're going to investigate. And having conversations with intelligence community leaders is not evidence. And the fact is, we haven't even begun to sit down with the FBI to talk about what have they looked at, who have they talked to, what leads have been pursued, what haven't. So it is, I think, way premature to be drawing any kind of conclusions about whether there was collusion. This is one of the most important aspects of our investigation.
The president was again tweeting out that the Russia connection, the Russia investigation is fake news. The Democrats trying to distract from the loss of their election. Can you put that in context?
Well, I don't know what he considers to be the fake news. Is he still disputing the fact that Russia hacked Democratic institutions, released documents that hurt Secretary Clinton and helped him? Does he still dispute that? Does he still think it may have been China or some 400-pound fat guy? Is this all make-believe? I don't understand exactly what the president is trying to say, except to deflect from the poor way he's running the administration thus far. But this is very real. It's very serious. One of the key conclusions of the intelligence community is the Russians will do this again. So we need to know what the Russians have done, not only to inoculate ourselves against Russian interference in the future, but to protect our allies and also bring to justice if there were U.S. persons involved. And again, I want to underscore, we don't know whether there were U.S. persons involved, but it is our responsibility to find out. And I don't think anyone on the committee or our chairs or in the House or Senate ought to be stating a conclusion or deeming it their responsibility to push back on unfavorable press stories. If we're going to be doing that, if we're going to be commenting on the evidence in the investigation every step of the way, every time we see a press story that we want to clarify, we are not going to have an investigation.
What do you think of the fact that the Deputy FBI Director, McCabe, reportedly was the first to raise this issue to try to reassure Sean Spicer that the New York Times story was not accurate in all of its details?
If that's...
You gotta read this. So, how did Russia, if did, meddle with the elections in 2016? Here is straight evidence-based breakdown of how Russia interfered in 2016 U.S. election based on findings from the Mueller investigation and bipartisan Senate Intelligence Committee reports. Social media influence campaign, Trophon. A Russian organization called the Internet Research Agency ran thousands of fake accounts. There was thousands of fake accounts that a Russia organization called Internet Research Agency. They posted content designed to divide Americans, race, politics, and religion, suppress voter turnout, especially targeted groups, and amplify extreme views on both sides. Think fake pages, memes, and comments pretending to be real Americans. Hacking and leaking political emails. Russia military interference. Hacked Democratic. I'm an hour in. Hacked Democratic National Committee. John Podesta via phishing emails. Then a low battery. Then they released the emails through platforms like WikiLeaks. To damage Hillary Clinton's campaign and shape media coverage. Amplifying content through bots and algorithms. Automated accounts, bots spread, leaked emails, political propaganda. This made certain stories trend and go viral faster than normal. Targeted political ads. Russians bought ads on platforms like Facebook. Ads were highly targeted based on demographics, interests,
demographics or interests, designed to inflame division or discourage voting. What they did not do based on evidence, no proof they changed actual vote counts, no confirmation hacking of voting machines that altered results. Bottom line, keep it simple. Russia's strategy was to influence minds, not machines. Spread misinformation, exploit division, damage trust in the system. Important context. These findings were confirmed by the Mueller report, a bipartisan Senate Intelligence Committee investigation. So basically, they just participated in influencing the minds of the American public to be appealed by the right wing, to have appeal for the right wing, for the right wing to have appeal to them. So, trying to make sure that I worded it correctly. Russia bought, so they brought ads, they pushed those ads through fake accounts. Okay. I mean, I guess that's one of it.
Should he have made that
Absolutely
approach?
not. Absolutely not. If the FBI or the director of the CIA was making press calls, speaking on condition of anonymity, or in any other way,
But should they have been talking to the
reports,
press?
it's totally inappropriate.
The press secretary, should they have been? Should the FBI have been in communication with the White House?
Absolutely not. Not on a pending investigation that potentially involves people within the administration. Absolutely not. And they already have a serious credibility problem given how they handled the Clinton investigation. This is making it that much worse.
Should there be an independent prosecutor? Now Darrell Issa has called for one. He's the first member of the House Republicans who has broken ranks.
If this gets to the point of a criminal referral by the Justice Department or to the Justice Department by the FBI, then yes, I think there absolutely ought to be an independent prosecutor here. But what we need, I think, more than anything else, and I think what we've seen in the course of the early stages of this investigation, is we need an independent commission. I would love to say that we can fully do this investigation within the House Intelligence Committee and the Senate Intelligence Committee. In order to do that, we're going to need strong bipartisan support. We're going to need to be dedicated to following the facts wherever they lead. We're going to need the full cooperation of the FBI, and that is a big question mark at this point. I would take more comfort in knowing that there was a fully independent body doing its work as we're doing our work in the intelligence committees. I think that is the single most important step we could do to give the public confidence that this will be done.
Respectfully, thank you. I'm over, y'all. Next topic. Next caller.
We got a truth post just a moment ago about Iran. We've been waiting on this, in fact. Here we go. The president's writing a few moments.
Iran has just informed us that they are in a state of collapse. They want us to open the Hormuz Strait as soon as possible as they try to figure out their leadership situation, which I believe they will be able to do. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
Moments ago, quote, Iran has just informed us that they are in a state of total collapse. In a state of collapse. They want us to open the Hormuz Strait as soon as possible as they try to figure out their leadership situation, which I believe they will be able to do.
All right, y'all. I'm gonna get off this. I'm done ranting. I'm not gonna waste my time really covering news, media, press stuff. It's something that I'm not into. I think I give some of it my attention every here and there. My intent is to understand if the information that's being pushed by these media sources, to understand this information is credible to us or not. Because if that's not the case, if it's not credible to us, I would myself and influence others to just not even pay any mind to the media. Which doesn't make sense because we go to the media for information on worldly events. But if this is going to be a constant back and forth of what's real and what's fake and what's AI and what's not AI, this is going to make Americans become more secluded and not want to be involved in events with political officials. And that's a fact. Because what this essentially does is it breeds cynicism. Americans are going to become more cynical and say to themselves, I'm not watching that because what is the point of giving it my energy when I'm not getting anything back from it? I'm not getting no type of credible information back from watching this, so why am I going to waste my time when I'm going to hear that another perceived company or entity is also spreading false information? Okay, so what company or entity do I go to for news or press coverage? That was the essence of my speech, my whole rant. We're trying to come down to the bottom of, okay, what's real, what's fake? Tell it to us. Let us do what we will with that information. With this constant back and forth between the right and the left on the media, it is annoying. Because at the end of the day, you're going to have your right wing people, you're going to have your left wing people. You're going to have two different value systems. Cool. And then you're going to have some people who don't give a fuck about either side. But they might realize that their values align with one of them. My values align with the right wing. And that's fine, but it don't mean I have a total disdain for everyone a part of the left wing. So I'm not giving this any type of more energy. I'm over it. I'll see you guys maybe in another video later on today, but I am getting tired. I did my hour stream. I still have to work on this lead generation, which I kind of planned on doing, but I'm not going to do it live streaming. I got to make some mistakes, figure some things out, and then live stream when I am up and running again, alright? Because if not, I'm going to feel pressured. So, if you made it far in this video, whether it was recorded after you decided to watch this, I appreciate you watching this video all the way to the end. Show me whatever type of support you can, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.